after today. I'm throwing a flashbang. Terrorists win. Let's be safe and swift. Smoke. Throwing a flashbang. I'm planting the bomb. Bomb has been planted. Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win. Now is the time. gentlemen, this is it. Hold up. Hold this position. Cover this area. Hold up. Roger. Counter-terrorists win. Lock and load. Cover this area. Hold this position. No. We have one enemy left. Counter-terrorists win. Let's roll. Counter-terrorists win. Stay frosty. Counter-terrorists win. Move it. Check in. Bomb has been planted. I'm defusing the bomb. Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win. Good job, everyone.
Bounce back and manage to pick up 2 consecutive event victories. They are known for this kind of inconsistency, and we'll explore it later. But let's talk about the other side of the coin, the legends. Cast your eyes down this list and tell me it doesn't just reek of sexy Counter-Strike. Astralis, Liquid, Na'Vi, MIBR. We started the topic of MIBR, and I'd like to just touch on it a little more because, Jacob, that's an exciting facet of Counter-Strike. But we have Astralis on the screen, so let's focus on them first.
Look, the world best team, right? The fact of the matter is these guys are seated big here, but Astralis are the #1 team and they've been seeded accordingly. Sure, they lost to Liquid when you have that iBuyPower Masters event, but let's just go ahead and say that event never happened.
Yeah.
These guys have to still be considered the #1 team in the world.
There's no doubt about it. They have shown consistency. They've shown the best level of Counter-Strike we potentially have ever seen being played, and they've done it for a long, long time. So coming into this one, they're the huge favorites. That said, though, we did see the iBuyPower tournament, and I don't want to forget about it because it makes me excited for this one. I think Liquid can actually pressure them this time around.
Yeah, I mean, Astralis, they have been doing their homework. There's lots of these. I feel like
Let's go. Terrorists win. Gentlemen, this is it. Flashbang. Throwing smoke. Counter-terrorists win. Let's move out. Counter-terrorists win. Good job.
Right, but they've gone with Inferno, and like one of the last times the Renegades played on Inferno, they actually lost to Greyhound quite significantly, right? So the fact of the matter here is when you look at this Ents team and their runs on Inferno, they started on the CT side and they had massive hauls, 13-2 halves in the last two games, which went on, I believe, in the minor, you know, and they blew teams out of the water. So I think here it's a comfort zone to start on the CT side of Inferno in a best-of-1 scenario.
I definitely agree, but it also speaks into the fact that I do believe Renegades have prepared, as you were alluding to in the pregame, you know, the fact that you have Kassad behind him, always preparing, always coming in, well knowing what to expect from the different team when they're going up against him. Inferno is one of those maps, if you find a loophole in the defense, if you find something to utilize, it can quickly spin out of control.
There was something that we didn't touch on. You were talking about Ali before.
Let's go, my brothers. Let's go, let's go! Terrorists win. Let us go! Terrorists win. This is our fight. Terrorists win. Let's go. Terrorists win. Let's go. Throw in the flashbang. Terrorists win. Together we can do this. Terrorists win. Let's move out. Terrorists win. gear, let's go. Go, go, go. Move it, move it! Go, everyone. Terrorists win. Good job, everyone.
Taking as an expert teammate, essentially turning that into a 2-on-1, realizing that his opponent would be forced into an awkward fight just in the hopes of winning the round. 2-0 for Renegades.
Yeah, for USP CZ, as you say, minimal investment. That grenade damage, though, down mid is significant. JKS is going to take the brunt of it. Granite's Faction and J can both get tagged as well. There's a stack up on the CT side from Ents, maybe could filter in for a frag, but you can see the bulk of Renegades are pushing A anyway, which is where X7 is all alone with his upgraded pistol. So this round should be going the way of the Australians plus New Zealander.
Oh, nice of you to make the distinction. Australians everywhere are rejoicing. Here
Plus New Zealanders, to be fair. They'd be
yeah,
mad if I said
probably,
they were
yeah,
Australian.
you're exactly right. Yeah, just one player defending this bomb site, but actually Renegades, they're going to fall back. So they think that the amount of pressure, the noise they've made up mid, has likely forced Ents to rotate over towards A. It's just not the case. This could actually be sketchy again. Now, still huge advantage for Renegades, just USPs. There is the one CZ on aerial. See how this goes. Utility being used. Owls going to lead the way. Actually.
cheats. Please, no cheats. Hello, Русский, you speak English? Please, no cheats.
Let's go.
Oh my god. Please, no cheats.
Move it, move it.
Please, no, 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 please, please, no, no, please, please, please. Thank you. Oh my god. I never. Easy shits. Oh my god.
Be careful. Let's all make it home tonight.
Please, no, 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 no. Thank you.
Let's go, people.
Please, no, 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 no. Please, please, no kill. Please. Thank you.
Go, go, go.
Go, knife, knife, knife. Nice.
Counter-terrorist win.
Oh my god. Knife? Knife? Yes and no. good.
Go, go, go.
Oh my god. Nice.
Let's get in and get out. Throwing flashbang. Let's go.
Nice. Good job. Bye bye.
Before they even entered into the bomb site.
I'm wondering if this is maybe a technical timeout, judging by how the Renegades players are reacting at the moment. A few admins and staff behind the players, it would seem, at the moment, so hopefully we'll get some info soon. There's Gratisfaction, one of the spearheads as to how Renegades are here in the first place. He had a phenomenal challenger stage.
Is he growing like a handlebar mustache that he can just?
Yeah, it's glorious.
That's wow. That's one word for it. It is something. That might be the most outback thing I've seen.
Well, we'll have to see if he can use that mustache and the power of his AWP once he gets his hands on it to good use. But at the moment, they have no reason to use the AWP. They've been so solid with the AKs as an organ play as well for Azza. Early banana presence being established from both teams, grenades being exchanged. There is a boost over there from the perspective of Alu's gonna see Liaz jump and does chomp down with his AWP. Great first pick fence, just what they were looking for.
Oh, and even the follow-up. Sergei gives up his position, but oh, he's gonna go for it. He wants to get aggressive. That's bold, but he wins it. The risk pays off, and this couldn't have gone better for us coming out of this. Obviously, you could see the plan.
speaking of Aerial, he could get tested momentarily. He is the short player. Flash is coming over. Aerial's gone down first. Alexi B's also been plucked out. That's going to put so much pressure on Alu now. He's going to have to hold the line by himself. He's done it time and time again. He's able to get the first one, but not deny the bomb plant. And still, he's very isolated from his teammate. X7 needs to get in there quickly with the AUG.
They know one's rap side, but this is actually not bad from Alu. This position prevents Renegades from getting into a comfortable spot, but the unfortunate part is Alu has to rely on his teammates to do all the heavy lifting to eliminate the opposition and get in, and they just haven't done it. He's all alone here. He's going to go down. Stay alive as long as possible, but a nice job from Renegades. That's twice now you could see they've really exploited that rap side. The first time was on Alu with the pistols, able to get that AK-47, and attacking that seems to be a weak spot, or a spot that at least in this game, Renegades has been able to find success. I would look for them to go back to that in this last third of the half. Also, congratulations to Alu as well. Had to leave very quickly after qualifying for the Legend stage to give, his wife gave birth, his girlfriend. I think are they married?
I think it's girlfriend.
Girlfriend gave birth?
Not entirely sure, but yeah, a father. So huge congrats. You do wonder if that's going to change his concentration or his focus at all. I mean, he is pretty ice cold, so I wouldn't think so.
He's Finnish. I don't think anything gets to him.
I think his focus is just fine, to be fair. But now Renegades, after pushing mid, it's forced them to put 3 players here. Now they're going to go Banana instead. So they're really trying to mentally force Sense into position. Damage though on Jacob is significant. He's been tagged down to just 15, make that an 8 off a grenade. And Renegades have by and large given up Banana control. It's just Liaz there now. Sense
has done a really good job on a lot of these rounds of winning the early stages of the rounds. A lot of damage being done. We saw it towards Banana previously, now towards the A bomb site. It looks like actually Jacob's going to remain aggressive in Boiler, and yeah, that's what happens. Close up to the choke point with 8 HP. Just a straight nade can really ruin your day. Man advantage for Ents.
Let's roll.
Means they
decoy. Counter-terrorists win. Grab your gear, let's go. Waiting here. That makes one. Counter-terrorists win. Let's roll. Counter-terrorists win. Time to earn our stories. Decoys out. Only one guy left. Counter-terrorists win. Let's go, let's go! Incendiary! Stay sharp. Still one left. Counter-terrorists win.
9-1 run to end the half by Ents puts them in the lead. They're up 10-5 over the Renegades. Young stars on each team showing up in a big way. It's Csgo, the young Finnish star. A lot of people predicting him to have a phenomenal 2019. He finishes the half at 15-4, but all 5 players from Ents are in double digits. It's only JKS for Renegades with 10 kills, 11 deaths. And Renegades need to come back big. They need to start with this pistol on. They need to have a phenomenal defensive half.
Yeah, it really has to start with this pistol. You have to feel if they're going to bounce back into this. As you say, the kill dispersal is so close on the side of Ents that you don't expect they're going to slow down anytime soon. Gratisfaction looking for some information. JKS has found some. And the top of Banana, he's seen a couple of players plus a grenade behind it. But there's been such little time played in this round, it doesn't really tell him a great deal, which is why Liaz is still peeking through mid to see if this rotation is going to start to take shape. And he's found it. There's a couple players there. So he's now going to have the help of Gratisfaction also. Rotating away from B are Jacob and Azza. But this does leave just JKS by himself on B. And a couple players in Banana here, Moses. This could get really awkward real quick. Flashbang over to have a quick peek. No one's home just yet. Jacob, though, going to hold the close angle. Head peeks round, just needs to back away. It's so important he doesn't die. Renegades are being really proactive for information, and you're exactly right. That puts him also in a position to get picked off. Hasn't happened yet. This is going to be a split towards that B bomb site. 3 players from Ents coming through, but there's the crossfire. Azza's shown up 3 quick kills. They needed him. He had only 3 in the first half, and he's doubled his scoreline. It's on JKS. The other long-standing member of this roster is going to get dropped. Now, it's always the risk having JKS by himself, but the damage is already done. Bomb planted, but it's not going to get capitalized on. Renegades, far too many players. And I'm going to have JKS getting... Jacob, pardon me, 2, and Azza with 3. Renegades pick up the second pistol. Game is well and truly back on here, Moses. Pretty nice setup from Renegades, though. They were actually able to get Azza rotated over just in time, and that comes down. It is a little bit risky to have so many peaks. It was nice that JKS saw down Banana. He was able to fall back into the bomb site before being hurt. Liaz was looking down towards mid as well, always kind of keeping track of exactly how close Ents was before they started attacking. And that smoke towards small pit, Azza gets right on the other side of it, and he's got clear vision. 10-6, Renegades picking up that pistol. I think that gives them both pistols in this game, which would be really depressing if they have nothing to show for it, but a buy up from Ents, this might catch him off guard. It certainly is. Sergey's got an AK, fighting behind the flames, down to 33 health, but he will survive. Heavily tacked up their process. The grenades now starting to rip and shred through Ents. Jacob going to capitalize onto Alexi B. And with a second smoke perfectly placed, stops Ents from really counteracting with a rush. If they push through this smoke, it's going to be a complete massacre. Oh, the timing on the reload could not have been worse, but he's not going to get punished for it, Jacob.
Might have actually been a good thing, reloading, and as soon as he sees someone, he backs away. Couldn't even have fought if he wanted to stick around. Alu, it feels like, saw that smoke coming and wanted to take a fight just before it plumed, and he's punished for that aggression. 3 players here, final 3 players for Ents in this round. Molotov, 2 smokes, and a flashbang. And you're probably feeling like you might as well just hit this B bomb site. This is the best opportunity. Here comes the smoke, but that AUG is just too strong. Holding the angles. Jacob able to crouch and pop right back up, and now JKS gets aggressive. Pretty clean sweep for Renegades, only losing Azza.
I've got to say, I'm a bit surprised they didn't throw that incendiary. It was picked up from the corpse in Banana that got caught by Sergey. They didn't toss it in on the approach. I mean, there's a lot of angles that you can throw that Molotov onto on the boost, new boxes that can really mess with the crossfire that's been established. You can see there one of the players that was actually boosted up just drops off. And Molotov could have changed things around with the flashbang.
I think they wanted to try and get in before any counter utility came out. And that might be part of the reason why, but you're exactly right. They did have another smoke as well they could have thrown towards coffins, but again, that was just going to give Renegades the knowledge of exactly what's coming, maybe allows them to rotate over a little bit faster. Either way, 7-10. Renegades starting to stabilize, especially surviving that second round bye that could have caught him so off guard.
Pistol's the state of play for Ents as they look to try and make some kind of moves through mid. Grenade's going to be there to counteract them pretty much. Sergey really struggling. Crossfire with the bait into Alcove. 1 player does get dropped from ENCE, which isn't too bad considering their investment or lack thereof. But the Renegades off to 3 consecutive rounds on their CT side.
It's poor Azza again, who's the only one to fall in those second and third rounds. 10-8, this is where the real trouble comes for the Renegades. You're going to have AK-47s out on ENCE, all 5 players, full utility as well. They can really open up the playbook on this one. And finally, we didn't see it on the T side. We know it's tough. Gratisfaction going to get that up in his hands.
Yeah, plus I guess not every... Oh, it was I think that was a knife, right?
That's not ideal.
Oh dear. Well, there's AKs anyway, so if you get a headshot, it's pretty much going to go down regardless. But yeah, a lot of AWPers typically don't even like AWPing on the T side, because there's very little in terms of possibilities. Plus, if your economy's constantly in turmoil, it's going to be an issue. But let's see what he can do. He's a very solid AWPer, had a great challenger stage with this gun. And so far, going to be playing more passive. I don't think it's lost on Renegades how important it is to win this round and really secure some foundations on this half. Nothing passive about this banana take, though. Renegades do decide to back away now that the smoke is starting to clear.
JKS still being pretty aggressive over towards Banana, peeking in that half wall, and actually at half HP. Renegades confident enough to leave him there all on his own, much like the pistol round. They really are enjoying this 4-man stack over at the A-bomb site. It always comes down to if that sole defender in Banana can get away. He still has a smoke to delay, but as we saw in the first half, that smoke doesn't always hold Terrace back. They can go through that. And actually, there's a deep pop flash. JKS might get pressure to put this out. X7 with a huge pick towards the A-bomb site. He's going to start coming through his own smoke, wrapping around, but it's the B hit. It's JKS who has to do everything. A gap in that smoke makes this a little bit dangerous for him as well.
Now Gratisfaction starting to make a move over, and ENCE haven't been fast enough to really make the most of this. Now they're going to start to push, but a beautiful counter flash keeps them in bay for a few more seconds. Now Gratisfaction is getting dangerously close from Coffins, but his linchpin, his anchor of JKS has been found, and his AWP is going to have little to no impact. Not able to stop the bomb plant, and at this stage, Renegades will just save. It's such a hard site to retake 2-on-4.
Especially when the AWP is your rotator, and part of that is because of the pick that X7 was able to get up mid, but when your AWP is your rotator towards the B bomb site, when you arrive, there's a smoke at Coffins, there's a smoke in that main choke point, you have to get aggressive, you have to overextend through if you're going to try, especially with the amount of time that was on that clock. If that's an M4, much more wieldy coming through a smoke when you have no idea what's on the other side. The AWP, a little bit more difficult to handle. It is going to pass over to ENCE. That'll be given to Alu in the next round. But it's going to be back to 11-8. So Renegades inch close. But ENCE take one more step forward.
With these 2 safe weapons, though, there will be another buy on the horizon. Liaz and Azza can both drop if they need. I think it was Gratisfaction that's lowest on funds, because, of course, he went in for the AWP in the round prior. So he's going to have an AUG. No, actually, they're going to drop him an AWP. So a couple of AUGs in play alongside the AWP. So it's going to be pretty much going right back in again for Renegades. Curious to see if they'll leave JKS on B alone again, or if they'll bolster him up with a second player.
I imagine they would, just because we've seen it already in the first gun round and in the pistol round. That seems to be, you know, something they want to do, maybe a game plan against ENCE specifically, or maybe just their typical default. And there you can see part of the reason why it's so annoying to utilize the AWP on Inferno on this T side. Nades always in the choke points. All Gratisfaction. Great peek. Here's the footsteps, and X7 trying to go at the same speed as his teammate who's jumping up. Not able to coordinate very well. Fast towards the B bomb site, almost a contact play. That's the bomb down. Rotation's gonna be called. Jacob, excuse me, comes through that smoke, and that's a bit of a weird hit.
But it's especially sending the bomb out first. Like, if a player dies out the smoke, they could think, okay, it's just an interference, it's a fake. As soon as you see that bomb drop, it's like, okay, well, just rotate. There's no reason to keep players over on the A side other than to stop rotation themselves. So really wrecked ENCE with pushing their bomb carrier in first, and you can see how much time's left. They were in no great rush.
No, I mean, this is, yeah, that's a very curious call to come through. Just 2 players attacking that bomb site. You can still kind of fight for this round. I mean, I guess your goal would be to take weapons away. You have some money on 4 players who'll be able to have AKs in the next round no matter what, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Maybe see what happens when you initially attack and then save that up towards the end of the round. Here comes Aerial. Stunning headshot to open things up. How much more can you get? All 4 players from Renegades are here at the moment. Do they realize counter flash comes in? Ariel's not in safety, and neither is Alu. A nice wipeout from Renegades.
Yeah, that kill almost baited them in. A 1-for-2 trade. I'm sure Renegades will take that every day of the week. It stops an AWP in the hands of Alu. As you said, they can invest in this round, but a couple players would be low. Sergey, 2,200, Alu, 3,400. So if they do go in for a force, someone's going to be down to a Glil, maybe a UMP, and then actual fact it's a Mac 10. So this does afford them more utility, but it's not exactly what you'd be looking for in terms of firepower.
It's not ideal, but like we see so frequently, you can send that Mac 10 in first to flush players out of position, get information. Gratisfaction almost with an opening pick down mid. We know his speed, from the time he sees an enemy to scoping in and firing, it's very, very quick. And pretty damn accurate as well.
Yeah, certainly a more aggressive AWP, one that when he's feeling it is going to be taking all the peaks. And he's landed a couple of beautiful shots already, so no reason for him not to continue unless he has a poor spawn. And this is the other downside of their purchase. As it stands with over a minute to play with them, they've got 2 smokes and a few flashbangs to play with here, Moses. So this is going to be looking like a more clumped up aggressive play.
This T-side so far, though, hasn't been anything to write home about. Gotta be worried if you're Ents. Running low on utility as well. 2 smokes, 3 flashbangs. It looks like that 1 pop flash allows them to get up mid. They can slow things down from here, but actually completely blind. That's the Mac 10. They now know where one of the Augs is. That's a nice elimination. Jacob still alive in CT spawn. Liaz got to do everything, but this scope provides him so much power, but so does the 1-bullet headshot. Gratisfaction doesn't know where to look, and all of a sudden, the floodgates are open. Enzo are into the A bomb site. JKS has to save. And that keeps Ents in fighting position in the rest of this half. That would have been a save run if they were losing that one, but this keeps them flush with money.
I'm still not entirely sure what happened there. I think Azam may have had a bit of a whiff. As soon as he goes down, the crossfire goes with him. And at that stage, as you say, Gratisfaction stuck on the site with 2 separate angles to watch out for. He's got no hope. There's no chance that he can hold the line there by himself.
No, not inside the bomb site. The only way to do that is to get aggressive towards either lane or wrap side. And he was just in the middle of the site with no idea which one was the best to go for. Tough situation for him. 12-9 now for Ents, and the money that is over on the Renegades defense is not great. JKS obviously saving a weapon. Liaz and Azza can buy if they choose to. Jacob's kind of hurting. I imagine we'll see a timeout here from the Renegades to talk things over. This is a big, big round. Whatever decision they make here is going to have huge implications. If they buy and lose this round, Ents has like the red carpet to a victory in this first map, or in this only map of their match.
I guess you could say the first map of the Legend stage, right? It would be a hell of a start.
That's what I was going for initially, and I think my brain took a little bit of a turn at some point.
Nailed it, mate. Nailed it. Never in doubt. But Ents, yeah, as you say, this is such a vitally important round that, of course, they're going to call a timeout just to mull things over, discuss them. They've got the saved Orc, of course. We know that from the previous round. They've got a Molotov in the hands of JKS. Do they add any more weapons alongside that? It doesn't look it. I think we're going to have more of a half-buy situation picking up here. Az has gone for a P250 armor. Other than that, there's not too much to talk about, really.
No, I kind of like this decision, though, from Renegades. I think a full investment here with what you had, like right on the line with most of your players that wouldn't have utility, that is a huge risk. So the players who had the money go for light armor and upgraded pistols and some utility, so they still have an element of danger, especially JKS with that AUG. He's been playing over towards the B bomb site, and you'd imagine they want to find a way for him to be the first point of contact for Renegades. We saw Ents do it with Alu with that AWP, the boost up over the smoke and Banana to get him a first pick. But you really want that AUG to have a big impact here and try and use those smokes on Liaz and Azza to kind of keep the attack funneled towards the AUG.
Time dwindling away. Ariel's going to take some early aggression through app side. There is a smoke deployed in mid, but Renegades can't really do anything behind it, plus the Molotov that JKS has been expended at this stage, so no grenades left to play with for Renegades. They're going to take the gamble, 4-player stack on A. I mean, it's not many 2 options available to them anyway, so you understand why they've gone for this, which does leave Jacob with a USP by himself on B, but it doesn't look like he's going to get tested. This is looking like it's going to be an A hit for the time being.
Well, you do have 4 players here. This couldn't have gone better for Renegades. This is the best setup they could hope for. You can see one player getting up top, Liaz waiting. Oh, he just pre-fires when he sees the flashes. He's gonna go for another. Not able to do it, but where's his team? So many players. Oh, the knife is out. Liaz gets it. He's still alive somehow. And this is a disaster for ENCE. It's all falling apart.
What is going on here, Moses? How is this happening? Renegades have won the round, only lose 1 player. Plus a knife, Liaz survives.
Even Kassad can't believe it. How do you drop that one if you're ENCE? It hurts. They went for the all-in play. No scouting, no pressure, and just coming through that smoke. Liaz, a beautiful performance. A rookie at the majors, and that's a good way to get things going in the legend stage.
I mean, not many people would have known much about him before the major started. And yet, there we go. That's one hell of a way to start things off in the legend stage.
Remember, their economy was on the ropes, so that knife, on top, the knife is an extra, is 1,500. Oh, hold the thought. B-rush, here we go. JK walks right into it. JKS is traded after 2, but Ozza's still here. He is the last line of defense. He's got to hold them off for the moment. Rotation's coming in. He's got to stand his ground, and he's delivering. 2 kills, some damage through the smoke, and all of a sudden, Alexi B has such a tough job to do.
Starts off okay though, but he's got no health, and Asa aggressively re-peaks him. And ENCE also forced in that round, by the way, so their economy's still in really rough shape. But that one round that ENCE will be face-palming so hard at, if they concede this map now, that is the moment. That round is the moment.
That is the one they look back on and say, God, how did we lose that? I mean, a really heads-up performance from Liaz. Remember, he just pre-fires that smoke. He sees the flashbangs coming over. He knows where the attack's going to come from. He knows what the flash is designed to do. Perfect positioning to negate the flashbang. And a little bit of luck as he fires through the smoke. And obviously a lot of bit of luck coming in for the knife.
Yeah, at that point, he was just wildly...
He's like, please, God.
Please connect, please connect. Sergey is going to do his best to just limp away from the early incursion. 4 health remains. It is by and large Glocks. There is a Deagle and a P250 in the mix, but no grenades behind it. More damage inflicted. This time it's X7's turn. The receiving end of a battering. And this is Renegade's hope now. Oh dear. Oh, no, it's back. Never mind. Because our screen went off for a second. This is Renegade's chance to draw us all even. And the momentum with that previous whiff, I think it's safe to say, would certainly be on their side on the CT side of things. JKS not quite on point with his spray, but it's done enough damage to just pull back, and he should be fine. There's also a rotation from Jacob.
ENCE is so softened up. This should be a pretty easy mop-up for the Renegades, for this defense to just kind of clean things out. So if everything goes according to plan, it would be 12-12. Both teams would have money to buy. We'd see them go head-to-head one more time. Some of these ENCE rounds, they've had some very nice T rounds, but they seem to be very all-in. Not a whole lot of plan Bs for the Finns, and Liaz gonna continue his tear at the A bomb site. He's got 3 so far, going for a 4th, and he's gonna get that too. 12-12, all tied up down the stretch, heading into round 25.
ENCE will have a buy coming in, and a pretty solid one at that. I'm curious what Alu's gonna do. He's got 5,800. Does he go in with the AWP? It really is a 50-50 in my mind. Liaz, of course, is going to be reaping the rewards of all the damage that was done earlier from grenades. And Alu has decided that he feels it with the AWP. Now, Renegades have been putting a lot of emphasis on grenading down towards T steps. Curious if they're going to go for it again. It doesn't look likely. They're actually putting 3 players on quad instead, going to be boosting up and having a crossfire established. This is a really good way of repelling mid-pushes, of course, but this is going to allow Alu some opportunities to maybe strike with his AWP.
His only responsibility for the moment is Boiler. If contact is made up mid, if ENCE travels there, I don't even know if Alu swings. He's got to keep Renegades, or I mean, excuse me, he's got to keep ENCE away from peeking Boiler. The AWP behind the smoke, just waiting for these to clear. Just over a minute left in the round. Excuse me, Gratisfaction is the one whose responsibility is Boiler.
Smoke's now starting to fade. This is where ENCE will look to try and find themselves some scraps to feed off. Jacob close range with the AUG. This is the stack. You can see there's 3 players here. One is looking towards the wall in case the flashbang comes over. And now it's been sprung, but he's actually the first player to fall. Jacob's going to stand tall with 2 of his own, though. Able to repel the push for the time being. The A site will not be secured anytime soon. There's so many flashbangs. Gratisfaction chips in for 1 and escapes. Lives to fight another day. Gonna have to reposition though. Alexi B's hot on the pursuit. Is gonna get the frag. It's a one-on-one post plant now with JKS making a move through mid. Alexi B, there's so many angles he can move back to. JKS is gonna have to take his sweet time clearing each and every one of them. There's been enough time that Alexi could be in pit. He could be towards library side. He has no idea he's still on the site at this stage. Alexi B's just gonna sit in position, watch the cross towards pit, really playing with JKS's mind. He's now making a move onto the side. He's making a bit of noise in terms of footsteps. Alexi B's heard that, but he's giving his position away as well. Who's gonna be quicker on the draw? It's gonna be JKS, and he has a kit, so this is gonna get defused. Renegades will take a 13-12 lead.
Alexi just losing his nerve, pulling the trigger a little bit early, but he had the right play. Isolated at the center boxes, looking towards wrap side for that B rotator to come in. And then obviously transitioning, especially when he hears the footsteps, he knows what's coming. This is that miracle round. Here's the knife, and a very, very speedy knife. Hyperactive knifing. 13-12 for Renegades, a massive clutch down the stretch to win for JKS. And that's a shame, because remember that defense at top mid was perfect for them. The only thing that was a little bit miscoordinated was Gratisfaction's flashbangs right at the end. You could see he actually blinds his teammate when that last player from ENCE comes up.
Which is significant because the Avenge frag came in just at that moment.
And it leaves Gratisfaction in a tough situation with just the op to defend in a one-on-one. Either way, JKS bails him out.
So ENCE back into another half. Only the one AK-47, very capable hands. In fact, it's a Galil, pardon me, in the very capable hands of an Aerial. Rest with pistols. Gratisfaction's been flashed out again. There's no one there to help him out. Snap flashbang is the freest kill you could ask for. Lias is doing damage, but he's been taken down as well. Holding the line is Asa. Weakened players getting sprawled out one by one. X7's been tagged down. Very low, but it is going to be another post plant.
A winnable situation, and X7 has another smoke. He can toss that over towards small pit, delay a little bit longer, but with the op, he might choose to keep the visibility. This is so dangerous. If he just gets one, there it is. There's the shot he wanted. He can't land it, and not even the follow-up. It's all on Alu. Nothing to be done, and Jacob gets 2. Renegades have taken control of this map down the stretch. 14-12 lead. But that one hurts the economy. It bolsters ENCE. They have plenty of money. But we said Renegades needed a dominant defensive half. They're getting it. They've only given up 2 rounds, and this one's all Asa. What a hold to start. The extra damage done as well in the last player in the pit. Look at that. That has been beautiful. 6 of the last 7 going to Renegades, 5 in a row. A huge step up in performance.
And what started those 5 rounds?
We asked for the knife.
That's where it all came crumbling down. ENCE now gotta try and battle back tooth and nail. Gratisfaction narrowly misses out. Be wise to just pull back. Knows there could be HEs flying his way. Of course, we can see there are no HEs available to ENCE. Couple of Molotovs, but no high explosives. ENCE gonna keep 1 player in Bananas to keep the CTs interested. Gonna smoke off archers as well. See if they can maybe draw out some grenades from Renegades in retaliation. But so far the CTs are holding on. They feel pretty confident in their positions. It's a bit more passive than we've seen in rounds prior. That is gonna allow some real estate to be taken from ENCE as they push through into mid. Molotov's gonna follow it up, one of which has just gone into smoke. That's pretty awkward.
What can they get off this though? They have that bracket control. Oh, pop flash delayed peek. It looks like Ozza wants to clear it out. He's gonna go for the aggression right into the waiting arms of Alu. How weak is this defense now in JKS? This is a tough rotation to make, a tough call. There is smoke, but he's left Liaz all alone in pit. A weird angle for the terrorist to manage, and he can't hit his shots. He can't see anything. They're inside the bomb site. Liaz, so much to do. He needs more, but they swing too wide. JKS is helping. Massive damage onto Alexi and Aerial. And all 3 players from ENCE are stuck in the bomb site.
It looks like Sergey could end up being the gatekeeper. As you say, Ariel and Alexei, only 6 health between the two of them. They're all playing on the site as well. This is where a flashbang could absolutely neutralize his defense. And there we go. Sergey eats it in the eyes. He's still alive and kicking, though, and the damage actually going across the Renegades. They're going to hold the line with all 3 players left alive.
Who better than Sergey to step up when you need a round triple kill, one of the star players events, and perhaps actually the star player. So much excitement and hype coming up around this young guy. What a delivery there when your 2 teammates are on low HP and you're the point man on all the fights. Renegades on this retake almost get tunnel visioned on him as well. He's the first one they spotted. Perfect crossfires, perfect bait into the trap. And Ents still alive. And now this round, so important for Renegades. If they lose this, they're out of money. This is a must-win scenario. Their defense has been so good. Nothing more important than this round 28.
Oh, that flashbang perfectly timed. Gratisfaction looking for the peak and loses 50% of his health in the process. We have to think twice about re-peaking now. We thought this match would be close. We thought it would be intense and scrappy. And oh my, has it lived up to the expectations so far.
Yeah, it started scrappy and then it kind of stabilized in the middle, but now we've gotten to scrappy again, which is awesome. Each team clawing for every inch. Ents 1 round away from tying it up, and they expected that to be clear because of the Molotov, and it's not to be. Great trades, great work from Jacob and JKS. Gratisfaction now rotated over with the op, and he can get a deep angle right next to the broken wall. Ariel, I don't think he realizes it, but they might need him to create something. They might need him to pounce from CT spawn because they're locked out of banana, and he's now going to start making his move.
This is where the confusion comes in, because surely Renegades need someone out over there watching. They're now going to find Ariel. I was going to say, get someone over there to make sure the wraparound can't come into play. The bomb's in a horrible spot for Ents, but they have just picked it up. And now they're darting back down Banana, but that's into the embracing arms of Asa, who's going to claim the first. The bomb's gone into tunnel to make matters even worse for them. Alu, try as he may, is going to get the kill, but he's only got 20-odd health remaining. This is looking very poor indeed. Grenade going to finish him off round the side of Liaz. Very well read. And now Renegades, who've been up against it. Remember, they were trailing 5-10 after the first half. They've got 2 map points.
Yeah, this has been a great half for them, and Jacob is leading the way. 27 and 17 for him. He's had a phenomenal game, but you have to give a shout out as well to Azza. He had 3 kills in that first half on their T side, the in-game leader of this team. A new in-game leader, really struggled to find production on an individual basis. But he's 18 and 20 now. He's got 15 kills in this second half alone. A really nice performance, a really nice step up from him.
Chip damage once again, putting a bunch of the Ents players into that 1 headshot range of the Orc. Up close, of course, it will deliver, but at range now too. 4-player stack up Banana. Are we going to have a fast end to round 29? And indeed, this map is looking likely. Jacob's opened up with 1. His account is brimming with kills at this stage. Molotov thrown in counteraction, but it's going to go in the smoke. But all this time, it has stalled Ents. And they're not entirely sure if Renegades are pushing down mid at this stage. They may have to get a move on.
Well, now Ozza's here as well. He's rotated over, and he was holding counter flash for the longest time. If Ents did commit to that, he was ready to slow him down and help his teammates peek. That's the last piece of utility. 1 jumps around the corner. Good kill for JKS. He's so low. The follow-up peek from Jacob does it, and this spells the end for Ents. It is going to be Renegades taking down Ents in this first match of the Legend stage. They're going to go 1-0, 16-13. That defense, spectacular from Renegades, and Jacob ends with 30.
What a beauty of an opening map for us as well to commentate here, Moses. An excellent game back and forth until the bitter end. Ents will be devastated. Again, it's off the back of that knife. Everything started to shift in Renegade's favor.
Yes, I mean, since that knife came out, it was a 7-1 run to close the map. Ents is going to be face palming. That's going to be tough. Yeah, the boys. How about that, Alex?
Well, yes, I had casting my eyes over the scores, and it is a spectacular result for the Renegades. We have got ourselves A new spot opening up in the Asian minor. Let's not forget, of course, the Asia Pacific minor usually features the Renegades as somewhat of a lock-in. Now that spot will be going elsewhere. Perhaps we'll have some Koreans venturing to the next one. Who knows?
Well, Tyloo have to go back down there, so they can just, you know, take that
They'll
number
play
one
for that.
spot at the
Vici
next
will be
minor.
there as well.
Yeah,
We'll
Greyhound, all the regulars. We won't let the new talent through just yet, but that's a fantastic victory from the Renegades just there. They were worried about starting slow. You heard it from Azza, and here they're able to come through. They're able to get both pistol rounds, which is the opposite of starting slow. And I feel like, Alex, they could have had even more rounds in that first half.
How so?
Well, the thing is, they were doing a lot of late round executes, right? They were just forcing back ends. They were getting them to just go back to their default positions and then just swarming like a 5-man B execute onto that B bomb site. It's about trading efficiently.
Sure.
They could have had a few more rounds there where they maybe, you know, would have gotten lucky, because at that point it's like a 50-50, right? If they've saved the utility or not. The Ents did a really good job of adjusting, and that's what stopped them.
It really did look fantastic. I mean, let's talk a moment about Ents and what we saw from them, Jacob. This is a team that a lot of people are expecting to be one of the few challengers to make it to the champions. What went wrong?
They couldn't close out the rounds in the late stages of the game. I think Chad is right when he said that they were being pushed back, but I don't think that was a problem by any means for Ents. So I think they played it perfectly fine. I think they had a good game. Losing both pistol rounds, still being able to be very competitive. Yeah. Losing a very unlucky round with the whole knife thing, you know, it is what it is. But they had, what, 3 or 4 clutches I felt they were favorable in. They all lost them. Had they just 1 or 2 of them, they would have been the winners of this game. I think Ents can be okay with the way the game was played out by them. It was not necessarily a bad performance, but the fact they weren't able to close out the rounds and win the game is a big disappointment.
Yeah, to back that up with stats, there were 3 1vx situations in that game, all going towards Renegades, and that Alexi B versus JKS one on that A bomb side, that one right there was the one that, you know, broke the camel's back in my mind. Alexi getting a little bit trigger happy there when JKS jiggle peeked around the box and then able to finish him off once he knows the position.
I was looking at multi-kills as well while on topic of stats, and Jacob, yes, 30 frags, but 11 multi-kill rounds. He was really delivering, and we talked about how, you know, what separates this Renegades from that prior. Maybe it is Jacob, this Norwegian, who often does go undiscussed. A spectacular performance from him, and a big reason why they managed to pick that one up. We'll continue to break it down, but why don't we seize this opportunity to go ahead and hear from a Renegade himself. We have none other than the brains behind this brigade, Azza, who is with Frankie.
Azza, congratulations first and foremost, but we need to talk about that cheeky twist of the knife from Liaz. Whose decision was that? Because it totally turned things around for you.
I think he ended up running out of ammo or something, and then he just ran to a smoke and knifed someone, so a credit to Jay for knifing someone.
So you can't actually take credit for that one then?
Me? Oh, definitely not, no.
Well, let's talk about the decision to let it go to Inferno, because you've got a much better track record on Train, for example. So why Inferno today?
I don't think it came down to Train and Inferno. I think it was another map, but we did all like the calculations like with the video, and we knew it was going to come to Inferno, and we knew we were going to start T-side, so we just made sure that we were prepared for it, made sure we watched them, and just, yeah, we're pretty confident heading into it.
Now, on your T-side, you started strong, but we did start to see some issues, particularly with your banana and on your B bomb site. Are you slightly concerned now that your weaknesses have been exposed to the other teams?
I don't think we showed many weaknesses. I think it was more so that we started pretty slow. We were screwing up some of our defaults, which usually isn't something we usually do. So I think we're heading into the game. I don't think we're sticking to our game plan and playing our own game. I think we were a little bit maybe nervous or something like that. But like credit to them, they destroyed us on some of their eco rounds, which was pretty shitty.
Well, we will hopefully speak to you later today, Azza, because you've got another best of one coming up later. But for now, we need to head back to the desk.
Thanks so much, Frankie. Yes, I'm going to have to apologize. That was my fault. I was the one that asked Frankie to inquire about Train. And of course, it was Ents who removed it. The veto did get a bit sketchy on our end of things, so I have got an excuse, I promise. But Dust 2 was the other option that they didn't choose to take. So, moving swiftly on, we have got to close this one out, put a pin in it. Renegades holding fast, holding form. This, I mean, a win versus Ents, it's certainly not a win versus the Legend team yet, Jacob, but that's enough to get excited.
Yeah, I think it's enough to get excited. I think once again they're showing that the foundation of of Renegades is getting stronger and stronger. I think the individuals are stepping up once again. This time around it was JKim. Next time it's probably going to be JKS. So they have a lot of different pieces, so to speak, to make work. That said, though, I feel that Ents were the better team in this game, to be completely honest with you. I think they should have won. Those clutches, have they closed it out, it would have been a win for Ents. And I think overall, Renegades got lucky.
Okay, and then on that bombshell, we will leave it for just a moment. The conversation does continue after the break, though. G2 take on Na'Vi. Star-studded game. We'll see if the game played looks the same. We'll find out after the break.
Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
A clash of major champions. Yes, both teams have players that have lifted a major trophy before, and now we find ourselves in Katowice. It's our second game of our first day of the Legends stage. G2 versus Na'Vi. So much to be discussed, just a best of one as these two duke it out. Of course, G2 already no stranger to Katowice or the Counter-Strike, a week-long tour of the Challenger stage, and by the skin of their teeth come through to the next stage of competition up against Na'Vi, whose performance in London got them this far already. First time we're going to be seeing from them in a while, and yet, with so many big names, I find myself asking both Sponge and Pimp, why is there doubt? Why are expectations not quite where they should be coming into a game of this magnitude?
Well, G2 have been proving their worth ever since the roster change with their online performances, and then during the Challenger stage, right? They had some big victories, and most of that came with a map like Dust 2. But the thing is, we're not completely sold. You need to have more than just one map in your pool. On the Na'Vi side of things, the reason there's so much doubt, the reason that we can't, get behind them as a team who could win the major is because there's so many rumors right now that Zeus and Edward are done, that this team are constantly bickering, constantly fighting, that nothing is really cohesive and working. Sure, you have Simple, sure you have Electronic, but is it enough? That's a question mark we need to get answered.
Yeah, and another question I'm going to have to throw to both of you is how much are you reading into the tales of unrest within Na'Vi? Zeus has been talking how he wants this to be his last year of Counter-Strike, how he's tired of keeping the team together. These are not words of a team that are going to be lifting a major trophy. How much do you think is a little bit of a poker face from Zeus? How much is he playing the game?
I don't think there's much poker face, to be honest. I think Zeus is just telling it the way it is, and I think that's a big problem for Na'Vi. Obviously, there's, as you said, players in that team that can take over a game and win the game by themselves. No matter what happens, you have Simple, you have Electronic, but having a team that currently is not working together, as you were saying, is a big problem. Na'Vi, right now, to me, is a mess, and it's a team I have zero to next to none expectations towards. If they can win a few games here, sure, go ahead, but this is going to be one of those where can they get one win and they avoid,
it's burning my ears.
No, can they get one win and avoid going down to the European minor next time? That'll be fine for them.
Simple, Flamey, Electronic. This is a roster that should have never be attached to that sentence. However, there is definitely doubt, and they go up against a G2 that many consider to be picking up pace just a little bit. You can see them on your screen.
Yeah, and they had to do that by beating Fnatic and Tyloo, right, in best of threes. Now, Fnatic, we've already stated the case at the top of the show about they were the #1 seed in that Challenger stage, but they've flopped on out, winning over Tyloo, who were proving themselves in that tournament too. We didn't know what to expect. How much stock can we put in? This is why I said, we have bad data or tainted information, because right now it hasn't all been flushed out. Na'Vi, for everybody who wasn't aware, they lost to North at the Ice Challenge over there in London not that long ago, and that's where the doubts cropped up, because going into a tournament like that, I expected them to be clicking, winning it, taking it easily.
Yeah. What I find super interesting is the fact that we have this seeding system, and the teams have seeded themselves, and Na'Vi is still seeded #3. So either that tells us that people are still practicing against Na'Vi, and Na'Vi are still a strong team, or nobody have been practicing against Na'Vi because Na'Vi's not practicing right now because the team is effectively dead, and nobody knows where to put them.
Whoa, I'm
just saying. In that regard, there's something to be said about that. I think it's interesting to see them being ranked #3, and I think G2 are quite happy for that.
I'm not as doom and gloom as Jacob around this Na'Vi roster, and the fact that they get Inferno is probably one of the better maps for them. That's that crossfire over towards... Yeah, that's where Zeus and Edward actually contribute, right? This is one of the maps where all 5 pieces of the puzzle can. The problem with a map like this, it's harder for a Simple, it's harder for an Electronic to take over the game. You're being, at least in my opinion, very doom and gloom about this Na'Vi roster. This is one of the scenarios. You're giving one side of the coin. The other is, we've seen this time and time again, a team comes in with no expectations, they think they're dead, and they just win the tournament, or they come out and put in a blistering performance. Na'Vi are capable of that.
I'll never forget Dubai, where NIP truly have, other than an official announcement, disbanded at the roster. They proceed to get to the grand finals versus Virtus Pro. There is sometimes that relief of being sent finally down to this kind of acceptance level that you just start to frag.
Between what happened with NIP back then and what's happening with Na'Vi these days.
We'll find out.
Rumors circulating with people not being friends, not getting along, not wanting to practice. Whereas with the NIP, the case were that they were not feeling that they could progress as a team anymore. It was not like the guys on the team were fighting or saying bad stuff about each other in public. To me, this Na'Vi situation is just a little bit off. There was even rumors circulating that Symbol is not following Zeus anymore on Instagram. They wouldn't be willing to practice with each other, all that kind of stuff. I don't know whether that's true or not. You know,
Sounds like high school.
Can you imagine?
But it's like high school.
Right? Can you imagine they're gaming and Simple like gets a frag and says, "Now you follow me on." Look at my story.
You don't want to go into a major tournament having those sort of like workings within your team, right? So yes, you're right. You have Symbol, you have Electronic. There is a case to be made that maybe Na'Vi just comes out and flushes everyone apart. But setting expectations real, I don't expect it to happen. I think Na'Vi's in a rough spot right now.
The amount of times though, I feel like for the last year it was, you know, how has Flamey been wanting to leave this team, then comes back and he drops 30. These individuals, they defy logic in that sense, where they can just be like, yeah, they hate each other, they absolutely hate each other's guts, but Simple's got 40 frags and they're doing it again. We'll find out. We really will, and that is the plan in just a few moments' time. I am intrigued. Jacob, you've made your prediction clear, but Chad, with all of that said, you are sugarcoating one side of the story. Who actually takes this one? Are you starting to favor G2?
For me, no, it's definitely Na'Vi, right? And I think it's just the fact that these guys have a much more experienced roster, unless they're going to come in here and completely throw away their major hopes and chances, which I don't think anybody would do. Sure, I can agree on the fact that there is conflict, but I still think Na'Vi here are going to be able to put up a decent fight, you know, in this tournament. So going up against G2, who are slowly proving their worth in stock, I have to have Na'Vi as my favorite.
And that's a good thing, because G2 is not a good team right now. G2 is getting better and better. We saw them progress during the first stage of the major, but for Na'Vi, it's a great matchup to come into, despite all the problems they have right now. I also do think that Na'Vi have a great chance of winning this game, but that's simply down to the fact that G2 is not a team to be reckoned with right now.
Yeah, and I mean, let's remind ourselves, Jax and Lucky, they had quite a quiet challenger stage up until that last best of three. That was kind of where we first saw the young blood demonstrate the potential that clearly secured them the spot in that roster. So I imagine a win condition for G2, if we were outlining them, would be the youngsters continuing to maintain that pace.
That and having Shox play the way he did the major stage. You know, Shox was very impactful, very proactive. He was taking a lot of initiative for the team. He's also the in-game leader, so can he be on that level again and activate player like Lucky and Jax on his side? That's going to be interesting for me to see if that's going to be able to be done by G2. Just one more thing to note on the Na'Vi thing. I think that's the only team that I've heard of who has not bootcamped leading into this major. So just another testament to the fact that they're not really feeling as a team right now.
Sure.